The meeting to order tonight. Mr. Worley, will you lead us in prayer?
Let us pray. Dear Lord, just like to thank you for this day, Lord, and for your many blessings of this life, Lord. And as we have come here to discuss business about our schools, Lord, I pray, God, that your hands will be upon each and every one that's here, and that every decision would reflect the good for each and every child in this district. Be with us as we go through this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to call this meeting of the Columbus County Board of Education to order. Mr. Enzer, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. You have before you the agenda for tonight's meeting, the final agenda. Can I get a motion to approve that final agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Long. Second by Mr. Enzer. Any discussion about the agenda? All in favor of approving the agenda for tonight's meeting, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved. You also have with you a copy of the December 12th minutes. Any comments or questions regarding the minutes? Can I get a motion to approve? Motion by Mr. Coleman. Second by Mr. Long. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes from the December 12th meeting, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Public comments.
There are no public comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Special presentations and recognitions.
Okay, we have several for this evening. Mr. Stanley, if you'll come and get the certificates, board members, if you'll come up here in front so that you can be recognized with those people, please. So our first one is that we had staff members who went through an intensive training on blended learning. They are now all facilitators in blended learning. They have graduated from the program and are can now provide training to other staff members within the district on blended learning. So we want to recognize them for their hard work as a part of this program. So the first is Leanna Lursha. And if I call your name, if you'll come forward, and Mr. Stanley will hand you a certificate. Brittany Batson, Stephanie Brown, Denise Cartret, Myra Creech, Wendy Daniels, Antoinette Evans, Esther Fields, Christian Godwin, Tyler Goodwin, Ronna Gore, Danielle Henson, Courtney Kramer, Linda Parker, Susan Powell, Juanita Roy, Julie Sellers, Michelle Simmons, and Brittany Ward. So congratulations to those staff members. They will now do a lot of training for us on blended learning. You're doing good, Jay.
You want to stay here?
Yep, here, stay there. So congratulations. I really do want to reiterate the amount of time that training put upon the teachers, the staff, the principals that were involved in that. And they really should be commended for that. And we look forward to the training that they're going to provide to their colleagues. The next one is the recognition of our innovation grant recipients for this school year. We have, after we received money for ESSER or COVID money, we had put out an opportunity for our staffs and our schools to submit grants, and that's what part of our ESSER money or COVID money is being used for. So we want to recognize those staff members, those schools who submitted those grants and were awarded. We appreciate them taking the extra time and really the innovation that is coming from these projects. We look forward to seeing them implemented, and so we're going to recognize them. So when your name is called, if you will come forward. We have Selena Phillips from West Columbus High School, and her project is going to provide VR headsets to enhance student learning. We have Fred McPherson and Jada Jackson, and their project is to create an outdoor learning environment in the form of a nature trail accessible to students, faculty, and community to promote healthy lifestyles by providing a place for both to improve both physical and mental health. It will be located, or the trail will contain different plants, 40 different plant and tree species that the FFA Forestry Career Development Event Tree ID list. Jennifer Davis from East Columbus is her project. We'll have students complete tasks and activities through an online research and analysis of readings and utilizing Google Chrome based on extensions such as Kami. Each analysis activity is directly aligned to standards, and there's a variety of media options for students to choose from. Danielle Hinson from Chadburn. This project will buy a book vending machine for the school media center. The students will use tokens that they receive for positive behavior to purchase books. Fred Mason from CCCA will purchase an MH9 Mud Hog Mortar Mixer. It's one of the newest products on the market. They're going to offer training at the high school level to prepare students for work. They plan to turn this into a certification for the industry-recognized credential. Taquanda Mason from Chadburn. This project is to create math centers that will have beanbag chairs, exercise balls, and stools for alternate seating in the classroom, along with math learning area rugs and materials to use as math centers for fun, competitive, and engaging activities. Sheila Spalding from Chadburn Elementary. This one is going to use one of the vacant classrooms in the adjoining playground to create an indoor-outdoor math lab. The lab will serve as a functioning math classroom, completed with supplies and various types of indoor-outdoor giant math floor games. Angela Tyler from Old Dock. This project's going to create a sensory path along the pathways on the playground. It'll be a way to learn and play at the same time. There'll be several caterpillar paths, with upper and lowercase alphabet, several frog hopscotch paths, several feet jump paths to see how many feet you can jump, and a giant ruler to learn the different marks, and much, much more. Gwendolyn Best Dixon and Glennis Singletary from Chadburn. And their project will open students' minds by purchasing a large telescope and other accompanying materials. It's called the Virtual Travelers. Rachel Mears and Jennifer Foley from South Columbus High School. Their project, all right, well, we appreciate you being here. This project is going to provide materials to enhance blended learning through the purchase of mobile furniture for learning stations and materials for students' projects with station rotation. Jennifer Sams, Jeff Rudnick, Sandra Richardson, and Brianna Giddings from our high schools and West Columbus School. Hey. Students are going to create ceramic bowls to be sold at an event. The event will allow attendees to purchase a bowl along with serving of soup, bread, and drink, and the proceeds will go to a local nonprofit. Brian Freeman from Chadburn Elementary. He is creating a scholars-only lounge. The project will make use of an empty space to promote learning and academic achievement. It will be a non-traditional setting that offers flexible seating that all teachers can use for special projects. Glenwood Davis at Chadburn Elementary. This is a chill zone. The project offers students a warm and inviting place to go and self-regulate in a crisis. Students have a choice between walking on a treadmill, a stationary bike, and practicing coping skills during physical activity. Amber Graves and Brittany Huggins from Chadburn Elementary. This project will allow for integrating blended learning into the classroom. Flexible seating will allow our students to have comfortable, inviting environment during station rotations. Sharon Zickafus, Darlene Graham, Christy Babson, Jennifer Graham, Josephine Spalding, the Waccamaw Siouan Healing Green Space, and communities and parents are all involved in this. This is Growing Good Goals in the Greenhouse. And this will give students an opportunity to learn hands-on that will incorporate core subjects through various activities in a greenhouse. Teachers can engage students from pre-K through 6th grade with real-life connections to ecosystems, environmental awareness, ecology, and plant life. Talissa Taylor Carter from Chadburn Elementary. This project will shape the minds of special education children by providing a writing curriculum and manipulative that will help children gain fine motor skills that it takes them to be able to write. Sandra Richardson, Jessica Williamson, and Michael Beck from West Columbus High School. Each of the arts disciplines will use this video film project to document works created or produced by the students. The final video will be used as a recruiting tool. Stephanie Hammond from West Columbus High School. This grant proposal was to purchase a wide format printer which will be used to increase student engagement by creating visual displays and printing students' digital work. Ebony Murchison from East Columbus. This is to provide the innovative tool called Wakelet, a tool that allows students to collaborate while researching. Giovanna Long and Angela Duncan from Chadburn Elementary. It's to provide age-appropriate playground equipment that will offer opportunities for fun and engaging physical activities. Annie Rendell from Hallsborough Artesia. It's going to purchase 15 61 keyboards with stands, 15 method books, and 15 beginner performance books to use with the band lab. Wendell Duncan, Miss Trost, Miss Smith, Ashley Cartret, Miss Parker, and Miss Burrows from Williams Township. And this is virtual voyages around the globe. This is to purchase VR glasses to enhance student learning across all content areas. And Antoinette Evans and Nikisha Lance from Chadburn. This is the creation of an outside learning environment that can essentially be used for a variety of instructional lessons year-round. Teachers will be able to teach in whole group settings, allowing students to space out and have individual spaces on the patio. Those are our innovative grant winners. So somehow you all have to get together, see how innovative you can be to make a picture. Tall ones in the back. Jay. they done? So congratulations to all of you. We appreciate you taking the time and the initiative to submit those grant applications. All right, our next recognition is our Volunteers of the Month. And so this month, we have volunteers from Chadburn Elementary. We'd like to recognize the Hearts Foundation, who provided goodies for the staff during the last week of school. The Mount Olive Baptist Missionary Baptist Church provided a holiday breakfast. The Chadburn First Baptist Church provided a holiday breakfast. The Omega Psi Phi Chapter Omicron Alpha provided breakfast for support staff during their Hidden Figures Week of Appreciation. So if any of those members of those organizations are here, please come forward to receive a certificate. We appreciate you taking the time at Chadburn Elementary. We also have volunteers to recognize. We have volunteers to recognize from Columbus Career and College Academy. They're recognizing Meg Sellers and Patricia Etheridge for their contributions in establishing an active PTSO and their efforts in securing donations for the PIE Mr. Johnson and Mr. Toman event during the second annual CCCA Jolly Holly Holiday Extravaganza. So thank you to Ms. Sellers and Ms. Etheridge. We also have volunteers from Nakina Middle School, Rodney Lee, Brian Cribb, Nikki Gerald, and Gracie Gerald. This group volunteered their time and talents to cook, prepare, and serve a delicious Christmas dinner for our school's faculty and staff. They're greatly appreciated. They are dedicated volunteers, and they made the holiday season a little brighter for the faculty and staff at Nakina Middle School. We're going to have to work on Mr. Stanley's ability to hand out certificates. Dr. Williams is going to have to do some training. We also have volunteers from West Columbus High School, Mr. Perry Frink and Mr. Bradley Cottrell. Mr. Frink always exhibits an altruistic spirit as he puts the needs of our students first. He's dedicated to making West Columbus High School the best it can be. He provides a unique sense of purpose and enriches the school community with his endless support. He's especially visible as he commentates on several of our athletic games at West. If you see Mr. Frank at one of the games, please let him know how much he is appreciated. Mr. Cottrell is one of a kind. He always gets excited about the game. He adds spunk, spark, and passion to every West Columbus High School sports program. He's dependable and genuinely cares about the shipload of Vikings. Thank you, Mr. Frank and Mr. Cottrell. Maybe I should let you read all of these things off. And we do have some volunteers also that we want to recognize from Williams Township, Gary Blanchard and Stan Hyatt. Mr. Blanchard donates classroom and cleaning supplies throughout the year for the entire staff, and Mr. Hyatt volunteers to do whatever is needed at Williams Township. Stan's the man. So let's take a picture and show our appreciation to our volunteers for this month. Thank you for all of your time and effort that you put into our schools. It takes all of us, and we appreciate your time and commitment to our schools. Thank you. Yep, there's more. You know this is my favorite part. All right, our next recognitions are because we have some staff members who have renewed their national board certification. So we have 4 staff members who have gone back, have gone through the process to make sure that they maintain their national board certification as a teacher or a counselor. So the first one is Georgiana Council from Old Dock. I don't have any, I must have to send you your certificates, though. Miss Everline Davis from South Columbus High School. Miss Heather Herring from West Columbus High School. And Miss Crystal Stubbs from South Columbus High School. So we want to say congratulations to these staff members. It takes extra time and effort to maintain their national board certification, and as they continue to demonstrate their excellent ability and knowledge and skills in teaching. All right, we have one more, and this is we had several student groups that did community service projects, and we want to recognize them. They did these community service projects over the holiday season. If you can go back to the beginning of the presentation for me, Kelly. And so, again, I'm going to have to send you your certificates. We had a little miscommunication on that, so but we will get them to you. So our first one is the CCCA's National Honor Society. This is a picture of Emma Arrington, who is the president of the National Honor Society at CCCA, but they did a Toys for Tots drive during the Christmas holiday. So we want to say thank you to the National Honor Society at CCCA and congratulations on that. The next one. And if anybody that's connected with this project, if you'll come forward. The next one is West Columbus FFA. They hosted an angel tree project in hopes of blessing 4 children with 5 Christmas presents each. The students and staff and community participated in the angel tree project, and they were able to actually provide for 6 children with 15 presents each, as well as a new bike for each of those children. And if you go check out the presentation, you can see pictures related to that, those of you that are online. South Columbus, their family consumer science class, and Miss Everline Davis, Miss Stubbs, and Miss Peggy Smith, Miss Wendy Strickland, they were involved with this food drive that South Columbus actually sponsors every year. They have been doing it, how many years now? It's like 15 or more, probably. But they had a goal that they were going to collect more than 3,000 canned or staple goods, and they actually reached that goal. They collected 3,652 canned foods for this food drive. And so a special thanks to Mr. Cartret, Ronald Cartret, and his classes for taking those donations to Chadbourn to the Share and Care Food Bank that's operated by the Living Word Church. So thank you to come on up, Miss Davis, and anyone else that's connected to that food drive. That's amazing. Oh, wow. All right. Tabor City's Beta Club, they also held a food drive, and it was the week before Thanksgiving. And you'll see the pictures online for that particular food drive. They are not here this evening, so they are going to actually come back next month to be recognized. And our other one is East Columbus Junior Senior High Hawks. This is actually the middle school students. They sponsored their very first canned food drive during the week of December 5th through the 9th. They had set a goal of 250 items, but they actually collected over 800 items, and it was a great experience. Each homeroom had an elective representative who planned and organized the collection efforts, and they were donated to 3 local food banks. So anyone connected to that food drive needs to come forward. And we actually have students that came, so we appreciate you being here. But it's great that our students take time to work for the community, to provide service to the community. So I thank every one of these students that have been involved in the community service projects over the holiday season. Come get in the picture. Thank you again. It means a lot to the community that you take your time and effort to donate back. And I think you guys are finished. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stanley. Sorry that it wasn't on there.
You should have known better than Miss that one.
Thank you to everyone that came. I know the room's about empty now, but I was beginning to think there for a while that we were going to need a bigger boardroom. Dr. Mattis?
Well, we'll just keep on having more recognitions, and people will be able to come see our beautiful boardroom.
Exactly. All right. Moving on with the agenda, there's nothing for curriculum and accountability. Moving all the way down to auxiliary services.
So Dr. Williams is not here because of a family situation. So the first items that you see are just review of the actual project bills or invoices that have gone to the county for the architects, invoices for Tabor City and West Columbus School, the flooring invoice that was to put the bleachers in at West Columbus School, Monteith's construction application that was for Tabor City School, Ty Associates, their normal invoice, and then the TriTech was for our fire alarm services, or fire alarm equipment and installation. I know Dr. Williams gives you more explanation, but yeah. So for the updates, though, I'm going to let Mr. Ward, our maintenance director, facilities and maintenance director, he's going to actually give you the project updates for those listed and maybe others.
Good evening. Long time no see.
Long time.
Matter of fact, new faces since I've been here. Okay. So we'll start with the HVAC updates. The admin building at Delco should be beginning this week. The gym they're working on now, which was one of the ones that was recently awarded. Last board meeting, I think y'all awarded that one. But they actually they could get their hands on the equipment, so they actually went to work on that one. The pod HVAC, there's a long lead time on that type unit, so we about 6 to 8 weeks out on that one. East Columbus, the admin I think it's going to be completed this week. I put on here the week of the 16th, but I was told today they would be finished by the end of this week. And the field house is complete. Hallsbar Artesia, EC building, it's been complete for a couple of months now. And the gym, it's the wall mount type unit that there's a long lead time on. So. Hallsburg Maintenance Technology, actually, my campus, our admin building is scheduled for after the admin building at Delco Elementary, so it'll be late January. Old Doc's Pod, that's the wall mount that such a long lead time on. Same deal with the kindergarten building. Nakana, that's one of the last ones we awarded, so We're still waiting on the equipment for that one. South Columbus, the principal's office and assistant principal's office is complete. The admin, we're just waiting on equipment. Williams Township Media Center is complete. The electives building, we have those units actually at our shop. We'll be installing those because they're window units. And the dehumidifier under the gym, we just found out it went out last week. And we're trying to find some parts, but I think we're just gonna have to replace it because there's some places in the floor that's starting to buckle up, and they hadn't did that since we replaced part of the floor and put that dehumidifier under it about 5 years ago. So I'm actually working on that now to try to get some parts or a new dehumidifier. Chapman Elementary, the main building's complete, Derrick building's complete. The pod, we're waiting on units. The gym units have been installed, but, well, there was a long lead time on the panel. We having to change the service out because those gyms only had 100 amps of electricity in them. So we had to put a 400 amp service in, and you can't get a 400 amp panel right now. Well, they found one for Chapman. For Delco, we're still trying to find one. So we should have that up and running in a couple of weeks. Matter of fact, I think that's all done. We were just waiting on Duke to make the service hot. So, West Columbus, the ag building's complete. The gym, we're having a terrible time getting that equipment here. That's one of the first jobs that we awarded, and we still haven't got all that equipment. ARCS complex, the controls, I've had 4 different companies come look at that. I just don't have all the proposals in yet. And the EC building, we're waiting on equipment. That was one of the last awards. And the bus garage, all that equipment is in, but we have decided to hold off on it because of the renovations we're planning to do, because by taking a wall out in the shop, we're going to need to move those units back. And we're actually going to take the units that we're going to put in the office area and put into the new building. So we're just holding off on that right this minute.
Okay.
All right. K-12 athletic facilities grant. This is kind of Dr. Williams' baby, but I'll do my best on it. Football field house exterior renovations are complete. That's where we had to fix the gable ends and the soffit around the. We completed
Is that
that.
at West Columbus, Mr.
West
Ward?
Columbus.
Okay.
West Columbus field house, the football field house. The top dressing for the field is complete. West Columbus School, the new school, the gym scoreboard has been installed. The baseball scoreboard and the softball scoreboard, we're in the process of getting the footings in. They should be, in the next week, we should have those up. South Columbus, we've got the scoreboards for baseball and soccer. We intend to get those installed by the end of January. And at East Columbus, same thing. And the top dressing at both of those locations has been complete. All right, new school, West Columbus School, update. We have a life safety inspection tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And with fingers crossed, we'll be able to move furniture in after that inspection. That was the last word we had from the building inspector and fire marshal last Wednesday when they come and done a preliminary walkthrough. We've told staff to start this week packing up their non-essential stuff they don't need in the next couple of weeks to teach with. Just go ahead and start packing up. The Department of Labor elevator inspection is scheduled for next week, the week of the 16th. The kitchen inspection is scheduled for the week of the 16th. The furniture installation will start the week of the 16th. We hope to get a certificate of occupancy on January 20, the week of the 23rd. And we hope to have an open house on the 29th. And we hope to begin student transition on the 30th. So, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
And as of today, all that was still on track.
So just pencil in and we know it's a Sunday, but an open house ribbon cutting for the 29th. We're gonna have to see how the inspections go to make for sure that we can do that, but of this month, that we're gonna try to do a ribbon cutting and then have an open house for parents to come in, because we wanna start having the kids go into school on that Monday, is our hope. We just need all inspections to go through.
It'd be kind of a transition to get the kids moved in. We'll start with admin, pre-K, and we just kind of stage them in. Try to do it while school's in,
Yeah.
without having to go virtual or anything.
Right,
So
trying to keep it where we
we're
don't send kids
trying to schedule
home.
all that out right now.
See, pre-K right now, for example, is in, they're located right now in some kindergarten classrooms. So we've got to move them out before we can move the kindergarten into those spaces. So we'll have to do a little bit of transitioning, moving maybe a couple of grade levels at a time into the building.
All right, Tabor City School. This list is actually from our monthly meeting last month. Our monthly meeting is this Wednesday, and all this should be updated. But masonry is 100% complete as far as the foundations and block. The brick veneers, 90% complete. Storefront and glazing, they're probably 60%. Metal roofs, 85%. Drywall was about 50%. They've started putting the first coat of paint on everything. They're still roughing in plumbing, mechanical, electrical, and the fire piping, all the overhead and the roof ends in the walls. They started pulling wire on the second floor. I think they've got the loading dock about 80% complete out back. That's a pretty big undertaking. And they've started putting rock and packing and on all the parking lots and roads, and they've got probably 75% of the curbing. But there's a pretty big area of curb they can't put in until we actually tear that next to primary building down. Because the parent loop actually goes into where that building is now. So we'll actually open that building, and the parent loop won't be complete because they'll still be working on that when the plans are to open school. So I think the completion date's like June, and we plan to move kids in August when school starts back in August, and the actual completion date for what we call in phase 2, which is tearing down the primary building, completing the parking and driveway, is like the middle or end of August. So there'll be a little transition there where we won't have a complete parent loop, which they'll still have to do like they've been doing, back up down the highway. You know, we just won't have that long queue in there. But
That school will have the longest queue of any school, I think. It's like, what is it?
It's 2 lanes, and it's like a quarter of a mile long.
Yeah.
The way you go up and loop back and loop around, and it's double lanes. So.
Yeah.
Going there with low fuel, right?
That's right.
I told somebody I said, we're going to use this on the weekend as a road course racetrack, because that's what it looks like. But we'll, they're really, I mean, I'm amazed. I thought West Columbus went up fast, but I'm really amazed at the work that goes on from week to week at that place. They're really doing a good job. All right, our access door control. East Columbus, this building is supposed to be online this week. They're actually supposed to be on site at both locations. They were actually on site at East Columbus today. The new school, West Columbus, they'll be on site tomorrow to finish pulling their cable, and they're supposed to complete it the week of the 16th. So those are the 3 that will be complete. The bus garage is scheduled to start January 23rd. South Columbus is scheduled to start that same week. The new school at Tabor City, they're going to start pulling wire the week of the 23rd. Delco Elementary, will start the 1st of February. Hallsboro Artesia will start the 1st of February, and Williams Township. Hallsboro Maintenance Technology, mid-February. Nakana, mid-February. And then Old Dock West and Chadburn will be toward the end of February. That was the latest update I got Friday. They've actually had one subcontractor trying to do all this work, and it was not happening, so they've actually brought 2 more subs on. So all of them should start in the county this week, going through these locations. That's all I have.
Mr. Ward, it just hit me that we don't have on the agenda the east, south, and west doors.
We didn't get it on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda. Is that quote still valid?
Should be. I can call him and make sure, but I'm sure it is. Their prices don't change, haven't changed on me. I mean, I've had quotes that have been 2 or 3 months out, and they still honor them. So
Okay.
I can call, make sure tomorrow, and we can. You might want to.
But, Mr. Phipps, we can't add it to the agenda now. No. So we'll have to put it on next month's.
That'll work. I
Okay.
think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Timmy, how's our roofs looking? I know we've had some squally, windy weather the last few months.
We're in pretty good shape on roofs. You know, I just finished up the back wing at Delco Elementary and the main building at Chadburn Elementary. So we're in.
So everything looks good there, no
Everything.
damages or anything?
No, we haven't had any damage from him. Just the only damage we had from any of the wind was at Nakana. We had a little canopy blow off. It was over the freezer and cooler. And at Hallsboro Middle, where I'm at, that long canopy that goes out, about half the metal come out of it. And it's bloated out several times, and it's an old canopy, and that aluminum gets corroded, and the hose is just blowed out. So I don't know, we might just take that one down, because all we really use it for is to put surplus equipment under for the auction. So, but yeah, we're doing, and we're actually, it's not on the agenda, but I'll give you an update on the gym at Hallsboro.
Yes, sir.
They've, as soon as the metal gets here, they're ready to lift and everything, sitting there waiting. We're gonna actually put master rib around the eaves of it and up under the eaves, so. That stuff's kinda, we got a lot of buildings that's got that type soffit on it, and it's getting in bad shape. And this will be the first one we're actually putting metal on, and I'm hoping it'll work out good, so we can replace it on a lot of other buildings.
If we're having such a hard time, Timmy, getting the 400 amp panels, could we do 200 amp?
No, they don't. We can go to a CT type meter,
Mhm.
but the rate is so high on that type meter, I'd rather,
Just wait.
and they found one, so I'm pretty sure they'll be able to come up with another one here in the next few days.
Okay.
We got my electrician, Ashley Electric, and our electricians at both of the construction jobs are kind of working their vendors, so if one comes available. But
Okay.
it's mainly just the 400 amp panel. You can get 200s. We actually thought about going to 600 amp, but then that throws us right back into that those high electrical rates. So we're gonna hold out for a few days. I mean,
All right.
we,
I was
if push
just,
comes to shove, we will. They actually took a temporary one down at West Columbus School for their temporary service, and we tried to talk them out of it. It was exactly what we needed, but no, they wouldn't. It belonged to the electrical contractor, and he knew what he had, so he said, no, I'm gonna hold on to it. So,
The roof at Hallsboro, I think it's done, Hallsboro Artesia, it was leaking between the gym, and that's been a while back. We did get all them stopped, didn't we?
as far as I know, it's all complete. I haven't heard any, we haven't had any tickets on any leaks in quite a while now, so. I think there actually were some leaks afterwards that ended up being some, air conditioning that weren't actually the roof, but as far as I know, everything, all that's took care of, so. Yeah, right now, our roofs are in really good shape. We've done a lot of roofing in the last couple of years.
The ceiling tiles, like for the individual schools, they have to put in a work order to get those, and then they install them correctly. Y'all do?
We install.
Maintenance does?
Yeah. They, the only thing they do in the ceiling, they're responsible for changing the bulbs. But we change the tile. And if they put in a ticket, we'll go around, and a lot of these buildings that we just put roofs on now, there probably still a lot of them we haven't changed out yet, because I didn't want to change them out till the roof was complete, 'cause
Any other questions for Mr. Ward? Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
See, it wasn't bad. You can come back and see us again.
Okay, I might try to come back. Interrogate me too bad. You'll have a good night.
You too.
Thank you, Tim.
Moving on, general items.
So the only policy we have is, it's a policy that came from the School Boards Association. It's the drug and alcohol testing of commercial motor vehicle operators, so for the bus drivers, CDL. And what the change is just a slight change in the language in Section D to remove a requirement that we have to contact prior employers about drug testing. They started up the clearinghouse where all people who have a CDL are supposed to be registered. During that kind of transition period of starting that, there was a requirement that we contact prior employers, but that's removed. So that's what that changes. So I would recommend that the board approve the updated board policy.
You've heard the recommendation from the superintendent that we update the board policy 7241, drug and alcohol testing of commercial motor vehicle operators. What's the pleasure of the board? Motion by Mr. Long. Second by Mr. Enzer. Any discussion?
I've read through this. They do need to be aware that there are instances, especially in our area, where somebody can have a CDL and they drive a dump truck, but their employer falls under the requirements of having to have drug testing.
Right.
So, and our folks need to be aware that there are some out there that we'll need to check.
Still call. Yep.
Any other discussion? All in favor of said motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Superintendent's update.
So I just have a few things. One was going to be on the West Columbus School opening, but as Mr. Ward discussed, we're hoping the end of this month and to do the open house on January 29th. As we get a little closer, we'll know for sure, but we haven't really advertised that or put it out until we get past the inspection tomorrow and see that we're actually going to be able to make that deadline, make that timeline. I know there had been discussion last month with some of the principals about attendance of students. And so, and I talked with the board chair. We're going to try tomorrow. We have a principals meeting. We're going to talk about doing some, push about attendance, some marketing about attendance and the importance of attendance. See what we can do to try to influence parents and students about the importance of sending their kids to school. We need kids to be at school in order for them to learn. Sometimes people think, well, if I just do well enough on my test, or I do have a good enough grade, whether it's really a good enough grade, then that's enough for me to come to school. But the things that they learn in school outside of even what's actually on the test are beneficial. So we need kids to be in school. We need parents to help us with that. And we need students to want to come to school. So we're going to work on that with principals tomorrow, having some conversations about that. I also wanted you to know that I talked with student advisory, and then we talked with the high school principals about the importance of students doing some sort of career inventory or kind of, what kind of interests do they have about potential employment. So we used the ASVAB to, all of our seniors took the ASVAB, and we did have some comments from some parents who were not happy about that, but it was not to, a lot of people connect that to the military, thinking that we're trying to force their kids into the military. That's not at all what we were doing. The intent of it was to give kids an opportunity to share, to respond to the questions, and then get the data back to say, I didn't realize I might be interested in being a teacher, but now, after I took this interest inventory, I am. That was the whole intent of it. And so they're going to do some work with the students at our high schools on the results from the ASVAB. There's some people that will come in and work with the students on those results to have conversations about it. They need to think about what career or what area might they want to go into for employment later in life. Some of the schools are going to also give that to other grade levels to see if they can use that along the way in terms of goal setting, in terms of courses that they choose, that type of thing. So we're trying to help kids make some decisions in life, not, we're not trying to send them all into the military, though. That was not the intent of that.
I was actually asked that question, so.
Yeah.
And,
If it was-
when going into the high school, I took at Delco whenever we transferred to East Columbus, and it's very beneficial because it gives you an idea of things that I thought I hated math, but that test said I enjoyed math.
Yep.
So, it gives you,
Yeah.
gives you
Well,
an idea.
and we do it in 8th grade, but, things change over the course of a few years. Some interests you might have in 8th grade, you go to the high school and you take some CTE classes or you have some different experiences, it might show something else that you might be interested in besides what showed up in 8th grade.
Now,
So.
was this one given to just the seniors or to everybody?
Every senior was given the test
Just the
at our
same.
high schools. Yeah. So we've been waiting on Here Comes the Bus to go live. It will go live next week. Remember, this is an app that parents will be able to put on their phone. It will track, it'll tell the parent where the bus their child rides is at a particular location. So if the bus is late, they would be able to look at the app on their phone. As long as they've put the app on their phone and they've registered it for their child, they will be able to see where that bus is and how far away it might be. If it's, every now and then we do have to run a double run, so it'll show where that bus is and how long it will be until the bus is going to arrive. In the mornings, it would seem the best use of it in terms of it's a cold morning or it's a rainy morning and I can see it on my phone on the app where the bus is. It's 5 minutes away. Now I know I need to go out to the bus stop. But it's going to be important. Mr. Jones has created some flyers to go home. We're going to do some marketing on it in the next few days to really promote for parents to load the app on their phone if their child rides the bus. So it's not, let me just make sure that we're clear though, it is not tracking a student. It is tracking the bus because we don't have, the students aren't logging in with an ID or something at the door of the bus. So it can do that eventually, but we have not set up that part of it. So it's just tracking where the bus is going at the particular time. Okay? So, but it should go live next Tuesday. Is there anything that I've said that you need to add, Mr. Jones?
No, we'll have 2 phases. The first phase is you can see where the bus is. The second phase will send you a notification when it gets inside the geofence. So,
Yep.
and that'll be active for some, but not for everybody, the geofence part. But everyone should be able to see what bus is on.
Okay. So again, it's important though, you can get that information if you don't put the app on your phone. So when the flyer comes home, people need to load the app or on their device.
Was this GPS technology already on the bus? Because you got to have GPS, right? So it was already existing technology and then the app.
We had a type of GPS tracking on there. We changed the GPS tracking to a different service, and that's what it was included when we made that change. All right. That's what I have for my update.
I'm sure it'll be uploaded on the website
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as the flyer and
Yep.
social media or whatever.
That's right.
Travis County.
Yep. We'll put it out there for everybody to see. Yeah. All right.
Moving on.
Dates to remember, and then Mr. Stanley.
Members of the board, there are two items under finance, both requesting your approval on. Sorry, Kelly. The first item is review and action on budget amendments. This is budget amendment number 1. The last time I think you guys saw the actual budget was the resolution that was approved November 7th. That is the left column under where the numbers are. I'm going to try to go fund by fund here and describe what's taking place within each fund. The first fund, State Public School Fund, we're seeing an increase there of $879,393. That is comprised of the following. Several PRCs received additional money. One, behavioral support, PRC 29, $206,000. School connectivity, PRC 73, $20,912. School technology received, I think it's the initial allocation, $59,485. School safety grant, the amount of $396,000. And then as we pay employee benefits, longevity, annual leave payouts, things like that, we're budgeting those expenses, and that's $197,119.55. So the total there increased $879,393. The next fund, local current expense fund, no increase here. This really is just a matter of reconciling the budget mid-year. I'm happy to answer any detailed questions behind that if need be. The next fund, federal grants fund, we're seeing an increase here of, it's really $127,531, but we did have a decrease of $1,315. That's indirect costs. Some of the federal programs, depending on the way we spend the funds, the indirect cost may fluctuate. It may go up or it may go down, and those indirect costs are, we can charge indirect costs to those federal programs and collect that back into the local budget. Specifically by program, again, migrant received an additional $16, a whopping $16. Language acquisition, $370. Student support, $15,834. Rural and low income support, $9,300. Special needs, $3,000. We received an additional $11,500 in ESSER 2 funds, PRC 171. I think that was carryover that finally came through. Just a correction of the carryover, I think. Also received ESSER 3 STEM funds, $30,000, and principal retention bonus or ESSER supplement. I think it's, I'm not sure exactly how to explain that. I think their salaries may have been impacted somewhat, and this is picking up an additional, I think it's about a month of additional employment for certain principals, and that total amount there is $56,196. So again, total here $126,216 for federal grant funds. The next fund on the next page, capital outlay, no increase here. Mr. Ward and I sat down at length and went through projects that we may or may not be doing this year, and some projects actually was slightly over budget. This is bringing that that budget in line with where we need to be. Child Nutrition Fund next, no change there. And the last budget, other restricted funds, we have this fund again is Fund 8. It's really a local fund. You heard a lot of the grants that had been mentioned tonight. We do collect any grant that's a local grant in excess of $1,000, and we I mean, it's $878,021 increase in those grants. Quite a few. I have to give kudos to the folks out there. They're obviously reaching out, getting additional funding that's needed, and can't thank them enough. But I will briefly go through the grants that comprise that 878,021. Hats off to Kelly Jones, the largest of the grants here, USDA Rural Utility Services Grant, $757,823, sorry. Kelly also received an R.C. Sadler Foundation grant, the amount of $1,500. We are budgeting I think the early college, Southeastern Community College, will fund up to 25% of a teaching position. So we are budgeting that. That's $16,386. Acme Delco received a Focus Broadband grant in the amount of $1,200. Chadbourne Elementary School received 2 grants. One, Focus Broadband grant for $5,000 and another GO grant for $15,000. East Columbus Junior Senior High School, a Tennis Foundation grant, $1,000. Nakana Middle School, a Focus Broadband grant in the amount of $2,500. Old Dock, Jimmy G Foundation grant for $9,495. Tabor City Middle School received 2 grants. One, Jimmy G Foundation for $46,617, and also a Focus Broadband grant for $2,500. We are budgeting, try to stay away from this word here, but we are budgeting, or I'm requesting your approval tonight in budgeting some fund balance. These were grants that were received in a prior year, but we were not able to spend the money until this year. This is a restricted fund balance only for the purposes of those grants. And the 2 grants here, a Healthy grant, carry forward $4,000, and a West Columbus High School GO grant in the amount of $15,000. That totals, of course, $878,21, a total increase in the budget of roughly $1.9 million. I would recommend that for your approval.
So, Mr. Chair, I'd recommend that the board approve the budget amendment number 1 as Mr. Stanley presented.
You've heard the recommendation from the superintendent and the finance officer that we approve the budget amendment number 1 for this current school year. What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Long,
Second.
second by Mr. Coleman. Any discussion? All in favor of said motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The second item, review and action on the December 22 board report.
And let me just say, you don't have to take action on this. This is just
Okay.
a review.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That helps. Through half the year, obviously, we should be somewhere around 50%. And I think in total, you'll see that by funds, state funds. I did, anywhere there's a deficit, and you see the red on that remaining balance column over to the far right. See, there is a deficit we're seeing in transportation funds. And there's a note at the bottom, we at this time have only received 80% of the allocation for the buses, the transportation. So we're in line when we see that additional amount come. I think, I'm sure that you're not going to see that deficit. A lot of that deficit is really outstanding purchase orders. Mr. Jeff Green is doing a great job working ahead and preventing some of the issues. So again, no concern there. Another budget I want to point out here, PRC 31 low wealth supplement. You'll see that's a little high. at 76.75% expended through December. The reason that is because that's where we pay our supplements. That's a big expense there. So as the year progresses, that will come more in line. Nothing else really here alarms me. We are, of course, at 52.95%, so slightly ahead, but I think a big reason that is the supplements. The next budget, current expense fund budget. This one, in total, we're almost 60% expended. I think it's a tight budget, but it's certainly doable. Yeah, nothing really to point out here line item by line item, but it's something that, of course, I think every year, I hate to speak for the past here at Columbus County Schools, but I'm sure the local current expense fund is something that you have to stay on top of. And I think that's what we're doing this year, and making sure we don't go over budget. And of course, not budgeting any fund balance is our goal. The third budget report, federal grant funds. There are a couple of red deficits in this. Let's see, PRC 163, this is a CARES Act funding. We have some outstanding purchase orders in the amount of $11,737.22. We may or may not pay those. Haven't adjusted anything at this point, but $566. That's not that much to transfer. And the second budget that's slightly over budget at this time, $221.76, is ESSER 2 Summer Career Accelerator Program. Again, outstanding purchase order 640.50, so nothing to be alarmed with there. I think we can easily accommodate $221.76 out of that budget. Capital outlay budget, we are currently at 45.67% spent in that budget. So we're slightly to the good there, I think mainly because we just have not paid that bus lease financing at this time. Child nutrition, doing well there, of course, a little bit ahead of that 50%, 44.26% expended through December. And the last Fund 8, our special fund, we're doing much better than the 50%, 41.35%. See that small deficit there? I've addressed that with our VIF faculty. These are visiting international faculty members. That is a loan that they repay, and that will be repaid by the end of the year. And also, Teacher of the Year and Principal of the Year, 80745. We're researching the funding for that. I have not gotten yet with Ms. Bonita and some other folks, but I'm pretty sure the funding is there to cover those expenses. We just might not have it in the right place, so investigating that. In total, we're at 48.14% expended through December 31st. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
On that last page, Fund 800, maintenance of schools.
Yeah.
$500, what was that? 800 on the last page.
I think it's a special allocation that we received that doesn't necessarily go through the local budget.
Third one from the bottom.
800.
The last page on special fund and Fund 800, maintenance of school for $500. Says we use $62.38 of it.
Yeah, we received a special allocation, and I think the way it's coded is just maintenance of school. I can find out the specifics for you and get it back to you.
That small number there, I was like, what?
That jumped off the page.
It was probably a grant, but what the grant was for probably
I can't
made
remember.
somebody think it was some maintenance type item, but would be my guess in Fund 8 anyway.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Mr. Stanley.
Thank you.
I like seeing that as to where we are and, what's left and,
I think we're in good shape. I mean, there's some areas that are tight, but certainly doable. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
No, just a motion
Okay.
for closed session.
Mr. Coleman?
Everybody's looking. I move that Columbus County Board of Education go into closed session for the purpose of discussing information that is privileged, confidential, or not public record under General Statute 143-31811.
And we have a motion from Mr. Coleman for closed session. Can I get a second?
Sir.
Got a second by Mr. Long. All in favor of going into closed session, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now in closed session.